How do you guys know each other?
So funny. Stella was asking me the same question, and here's my answer. And I give it to everyone from J-Lo down to whoever. I have no clue.
I love it. Maria's like, I don't know this woman. I was just like, what am I doing here? Well, so for me, it goes way back.
Did you read the book first?
You should not be embarrassed. Yes, it starts with her book.
Oh gosh, okay, yeah, I get it.
Then I saw you at the Grove and just stared at you and thought about approaching you, but didn't. But I didn't need to bring that part up.
I'm dead. I love you.
And then I did your podcast. I think I was promoting Dollface or something, a show. And then
was that the first time we met in person though? No,
it was. No,
I didn't interview you on any of your shows or anything like that while I was at Extra or Access.
No, I was nowhere to be found in those years. Well, hello. Guess what? Friday, October 18th, I'm going to be in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store doing a very intimate, fun stand-up show in the Belly Room. Then what? Then November 1st and 2nd, Tacoma, Washington, and then I'll be in Austin, Texas, November 22nd and 23rd. These are my tour dates for this year. That's it. We're just hanging out. We're having fun. Come see me live. It's going to be great. I'll see you there. Tickets at the link in the description. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/TrashTuesday today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TrashTuesday. Hey slugs, welcome back. This week in the studio, we have the most beautiful woman I've ever laid my eyes on. Maria Menounos, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
We're so excited to have you. I was very pregnant and nauseous and went to the movies a bunch. And so it was the most comforting experience when you were there on the movie screen before every movie I saw last winter. It feels so good to see you, and it felt so good to see you then. So thank you for all the
How
comfort.
do you guys know each other?
So funny. Stella was asking me the same question, and here's my answer. And I give it to everyone from J-Lo down to whoever. I have no clue. I never know how I meet anyone in this business because it all moves so fast. I just know I've met them, I've interviewed them, I know them, I love them. That's it.
I love it. Maria's like, I don't know this woman. I was just like, what am I doing here? Well, so for me, it goes way back.
Did you read the book first?
You should not be embarrassed. Yes, it starts with her book.
Oh gosh, okay, yeah, I get it.
It starts with the Every Girl's Guide to Life, written by Maria Menounos.
I'm dead. I love
the book that changed my life forever. I owe you so much from all the life lessons in that book. My favorite one, which I always talk about, she's like, her thing is like teaching you how to have like the good life, but on a budget. After I read her book, I went and bought from Target a ton of white washcloths. You roll them up, you put them in your bathroom, and suddenly you're living in a boutique hotel.
Yep. And your skin is great because there's no bacteria buildup because it's one and done, baby.
That's right. You do not use the same towel.
It's the secret to skin that nobody tells you. If you reuse the same towel, all that bacteria that's built up is now going into your pores after you've now washed your face, generally with some warm water, right? So your pores are open. So one and done. Throw it out. Not throw it out. Throw it in the laundry basket.
Yeah. This is my mother here. mother is here today. But then I did actually, then I saw you at the Grove and just stared at you and thought about approaching you, but didn't. But I didn't need to bring that part up.
I'm dead. I love you.
And then I did your podcast. I think I was promoting Dollface or something, a show. And then
was that the first time we met in person though? No,
it was. No,
I didn't interview you on any of your shows or anything like that while I was at Extra or Access.
No, I was nowhere to be found in those years.
Well, I was always a big fan, and I told you that last time I interviewed you,
which is so nice. And your husband too, who is my favorite person. Who you guys. It's so interesting because you're like the face of the operation, right? Like you're the star in the relationship, but then when you take a closer look, he's kind of like the kooky one. Which usually the star is the kooky one. Yeah. But you're like the calm, right? Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I have my kookiness too, but I definitely maybe don't present that as much. But he's special, yeah. So and he loves you too.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he's a big champion of yours.
He's like, I showed up at her house. He's like, do you want to go for a ride in my car? I'm like, okay.
Wait, this is why you believe in manifestation so hard. You read a book, you buy towels and you tell yourself, one day I'm going to be friends with Maria Menounos.
And it happens.
And it happens.
But you know what is crazy about you? I don't think there's anyone in Hollywood that has a career as long as yours has been and is so well liked. And like, how are you such a good person? What is your secret?
Guys,
Give us advice.
From Stella to you guys, I'm never leaving here. Just so you know, now you're fucked. You're stuck with me forever. Keep the compliments coming. I don't know. I'm so grateful for everything that I get to do and everything that's happened. And I mean, you talk about manifesting. Like my parents were janitors, Greek immigrants from, Greece, and I dreamed of being in this business. And like I pinch myself every time I'm in my convertible driving through Beverly Hills with the palm trees and being like, holy shit, I used to watch Axel Foley on Beverly Hills Cop and drive through Beverly Hills in a shitbox, but whatever. And be like, that I want that. I want to be there. And when it never, ever leaves my mind that I'm here, I get to be here, I get to be in this really cool space with cool people and doing amazing things and having even dreams I didn't even know were there come true. Part of that is Keven dreaming for me as well when I'm, thinking that this is it. He's like, no, you're going to wrestle. I'm like, I am? Okay. Or you're going to do that? I am? Okay. You're going to do this? Oh, okay. So, and I love life.
What is your favorite thing that you've done? Because you've done so many things like entertainment reporter, journalist, wrestling, literal professional wrestler, which is like insane. Doesn't make any sense. You were on Dancing with the Stars, hosted different shows. Do you have like a favorite career highlight or moment?
Man, it's really crazy, guys, because when I look at reels that different people have made of like my career, I'm like, holy moly, they had to categorize it because there's been so many things that I've done. And I feel so, like I said, grateful. And it's tough because the journalism, like working for nightly news, the most prestigious 30 minutes of news, and doing the things I did. I interviewed the Obama family. No one had ever interviewed them, and no one still has. It filled my soul so much because I got to tell people stories, whether it was, the story of first generation kids. When you're first gen in this country, there is a burden that's placed on you to be the family translator, to be, an adult from the time you're a kid. And I wanted to tell that story. And so there's so many things like that I got to do that really like fed my soul. But then on the other side, the Gemini crazy fun side, I mean, there's maybe never going to be a moment like wrestling at WrestleMania in front of 70,000 fans at Dolphin Stadium.
That is so contrasting things.
Right?
It's like just so different. But I feel like that's also, it's so special because it's like, I think that a lot of people are quick to place people in categories and say, this is where you belong. This is the lane you exist in. And you're kind of just like, no, I have multiple lanes. This is the 405 freeway and I have 10 lanes to choose from. And I think that's like speaks to your longevity in this industry too.
Diversifying.
Yeah.
But that's Keven. So if it wasn't for Keven, I'd probably still be at Entertainment Tonight. Or maybe they would have gotten rid of me by now. But I wanted to do everything. So that was there. That passion was there to do everything. But Keven was the one with the balls, technically and literally. So he would help me push down those doors because they were like, you're a journalist. You can't be in campaigns. So I'm on nightly news and a Pantene commercial is running and they're looking at me like, wait, how much longer do we have to deal with this? Like, this is a conflict. Or I wanted to be in movies. And so I'm starring in a movie, while I'm doing the Today Show or whatever. So wrestling was maybe the biggest kind of stray. And I had friends after the first time be like, okay, that's enough. And then I was like, no, but I love this. And I've loved it since I was a kid. This is a total dream come true. And like, you're going to be known as like the wrestler girl. This is so weird for your reputation. And I was like, my rudder has always been, if I love it and I believe in it, I'm in and I'm doing it. And now I don't think you can be hurt in your career if those things are true.
If it's real to who you are, if it's true to you.
And now you see like A-list celebrities begging to be in WWE and they won't even let them in. And you're like, okay, so maybe I wasn't so stupid after all.
Do you always, you must have like a really strong gut like relationship with trusting your gut?
It's been an ongoing building. I think that it's hard when you're younger to listen to your gut. And then, like my first book, funny story, The Every Girl's Guide to Life. My lawyer, who's been my lawyer for all these years, calls me and he's like, the publisher called. I won't name them. Everybody knows, they can look it up. Publisher called and they said that you're writing a bad book. Are you writing a bad book or are you writing a good book?
What does that even mean?
And I go, I don't know. I've never written a book, so I have no clue. This is like big bad publisher of the world. If they think I'm writing a bad book, I'm screwed. And I was like, but hold on, let me think about this. And then I go to Keven, and Kevin's like, Maria, they want you to write like a dummy girl book, like a just hair and makeup, like super like kind of surface book. And you're sharing all your tips and tricks and things that you are passionate about. He's like, don't listen to them. And I was like, Keven, you're crazy. And so in the meantime,
the best way.
I said, well, let me run it by some people and see what they think. And so I sent it to some of my choir sisters from back in the day when we sang in church choir. I sent it to some old teachers. I sent it to like a few different people from like back home. And I said, please be honest with me, first of all, because I don't want to like flop here. But if this content is helpful to you, let me know. And the resounding answer was yes. So then I called them back and I said, I'd rather fail on my own accord than fail doing something that you think is right to do. And I remember asking them about like New York Times bestseller lists and stuff. And they're like, don't even think about it. It's too hard. I was only a correspondent at Access Hollywood at that time. So I was maybe getting 30 seconds a night, if that, on TV. And so, but I had really good relationships. And so I called up Howard Stern. I called up Rachel Ray. I called up Jimmy Kimmel. I called up everyone. And I asked everyone, the Kardashians, I asked everybody to support me. And everybody did. And they had to call me. And they're like, you're never going to believe this. You made the New York Times bestseller list. I go, wow. And they're like, and in the hardest category, you're number 3 in self-help and advice. And I go, oh shit, I didn't even know I wrote a self-help book, which is true. I had no clue. I just wrote. Keven helped write with me. Like I wrote, he cleaned up. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was sharing. And so back to your point about trusting your gut, experiences like that are what you build on. And you say, oh, okay, I have to listen to myself. And we always know. It's just there's always that moment that the knowing meets doubt. And then you're like, oh shit, I'm scared. And then you don't listen. And so
that is so real because I, in my 20s, read every single celebrity book that there ever was. And yours, absolutely. I wasn't, I didn't think yours would be my favorite because there was a lot of different ones. And I wasn't that familiar with your work, but your book was the best. And it stood out because you gave real stuff and everyone else was like so superficial and like almost phony feeling. But it's so true. Yours was different than everyone else's. It feels like you're the only one that didn't follow the big publisher's advice.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you the second funny part to it was that after my book became so successful, Jessica Alba, everyone came up to me and they're like, they basically gave us your book and said, make your version.
Oh, wow.
So I started that whole lifestyle thing without even realizing it. And it was just awesome that like women actually came up and said that and told me, like Jessica was like, oh yeah, they said, here's your copy and go make it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And I shot the cover myself. Like it was all homegrown. I was like, no, I don't want to be on a couch with a sweater like everybody else. Like I want people to know what they're getting on the cover. So we made these signs and the dress was my pageant dress and like, had the cell phone and the pen and the notebook. We just did it ourselves outside with my own hair and makeup myself. And
I love
so.
I know. It just inspires me because I feel like I'm at this like weird transitional point in my career and I don't know what I'm going to do, what I want to do. And I think of you as someone that's like, you could do anything if it's true to you. And so, it
sounds like you need an advocate. Kevin's an advocate.
I know.
I do want to ask you about Keven though. Like, what does it feel like to meet someone who has that much faith in you, and that not just faith in one thing you could do, but in all the things he thinks you can do? Like, what is it like to have just that like undeniable like trust in someone, and vice versa, where they're like, Maria, she can do anything, so I'm gonna pitch her everything.
It's special. I feel really lucky.
Oh my gosh. We lost her.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's gone. Because my mom was that for me. She believed in me so much and she sacrificed so much for me. And I always tell Keven, I'm like, I feel like she passed the baton on to him. And then we moved to LA and I was able to, build off of that. Sorry, guys.
No, and I'm
no,
so
no.
sorry that you lost your mother,
Thank
Maria.
you. So, yeah, I feel really lucky. He's such a champion, but I always say he's everybody's champion. Whoever he meets, he is a career intuitive. And so he finds somebody. We'll be at the mall. He drives me friggin' nuts. We'll go to the mall. Bless you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to the mall and the cashier at the desk, at the counter, he'll be like, you know what you need to be doing? You need to be doing this, this, and this. And you have this and blah, 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 blah. And 2 hours later, I'm begging him to leave. I'm like, I just came to buy socks. Please, I gotta go. But he's everybody's champion and he's everyone's advocate. And he's discovered so many people like Beth Bears. When she was at the Geffen ripping tickets at the Joan Rivers one woman show, he went up to her and he goes, you're a star. He goes, I'm writing you into my movie. And then dumbass over here is producing the movie is like, I don't have the budget to fly her out from LA. Sorry. If she wants to PA, she can be in. So she PA'd on the movie. And then a month after the movie, she's on every billboard in LA on Two Broke Girls. Same thing with Melissa McCarthy. We were at Groundlings and he goes, she's a star. Get her for my movie. I'm like, okay. So I go and I get her. And she was like, I would love to do it. I just need my husband to come. And dumbass me, I'm like, I don't have it in the budget. Sorry. Said no. And then like a month later, she exploded. And so he sees talent and he also knows exactly what to do. But the other thing is not only is he a visionary, he knows how to actively actually do it. He will make it happen. So, okay, now this is like the homage to Keven episode, but
it
whatever.
has to be. I mean,
I know.
No, brothers.
He did this to me when I met him. He was like pitching me career ideas. Like he's such a great human and he is like an intuitive. I want to ask you about, okay.
So always go with your gut. And one last thing, know that systems are meant to be broken. And just because there's a set way of doing things doesn't mean you have to do it that way. And all of these moments in life have really shown me like everybody, would go with these, specific people because they're the people or whatever. And we always kind of buck the system and did it our own way. So you don't always have to do it the traditional way.
I actually do agree with you in that I think there is, when I want to do something, I almost don't study what else is out there because then I feel like I'm going to conform or maybe be swayed by what's already been done.
Smart.
Versus trusting my own like vision for something. So I don't overstudy things. I
like that. I'm going to take that.
And
because also you can say, oh, well, they are doing it, then I don't have to do it. But there's always a Coke to the Pepsi and like a Mountain Dew to the whatever,
Exactly. And I do think that it influences you in a way that might get in the way of your own true vision for something.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it's good to know like the general lay of the land.
Yeah.
Like when I started like my hair company, I wasn't out there like testing every single product or overstudying how people approached launching a brand. I just had this like vision that I fully trusted in. And I was like, I'm going to do it this way, my way, and I'm going to stick to the ethos of it and went for it. Right. I think if I had done too much of overstudying, I would have maybe doubted myself and where I wanted to like take it.
It's always better to go with what's real and what's coming from you, but it is so hard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It is
scary.
It's scary. It's just harder. Like there's more work involved and like putting yourself out there. It's one of those true easier said than done skills. Last thing about Keven, there's a little bit of a viral TikTok clip going around about your life. Do you know what it is?
No.
Well,
no. Really?
You don't know?
No.
Do you have guesses?
No clue. Not a clue.
I'm
I'm terrible, guys. I don't do social media. I have help with my social media. There's a moment, maybe if I'm on the toilet, that I'll go scroll through shit because, well, that just came out bad. But you know what I'm saying? Because I'm bored.
You were
or
proposed
begging for something to happen. What?
On Howard Stern.
Oh, yeah.
Will you tell us about that moment? Like
Were
Keven,
terrified and thought he was joking and that everyone was going to hate him and I thought it was a fake ring because it shined so bright and there was a light in the box and I was like, what the frig is happening here? Yeah, I was freaked out.
Yeah, so...
But by the way, what's funny is he reacted the way I reacted when I told him we were pregnant. So he dove all to the other side of the gym when I told him and I'm like, why are you running from me? But the same thing I'm doing here.
He proposes to you and you basically don't believe him.
Yeah. And Howard tells me, he's like, Maria, this is where you're supposed to cry. And I'm like, I was just like in shock. I'm like, we had been together for 20 years. This made no sense. I didn't get it.
Yeah, because you thought you guys were never going to get married.
Yeah, we were Goldie and Kurt for life.
I kind of love that you guys waited that long. You kind of buck this whole theory of like, well, if it's not within the first couple years. Same with you, by the way.
Well, mine was it was non-consensual. I wanted to be married immediately.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I was upset.
But like even with my niece, my 22-year-old niece, a lot of the younger kids are like, I'm surprised at how much they value like a fixed commitment in that way, where it's like, if you're still his girlfriend after 10 years, like he doesn't care about you. And there's this ongoing conversation about that. And this belief system that it's like, God forbid two people just sort of like wait it out because it's okay to also not get married.
Well, what people don't realize is you don't know someone for a long time.
What would you say is like the year where you know them?
I think like 10 years for sure. Like, I think it's like, it takes a long time for like layers to break down, but also not just layers. Layers can break down fast. I shouldn't say that. What really needs to happen is you need to be tested in ways like illness, death, tragedy, finances to see, are you really together? Are you really on the same page? Are you a pet? So even a pet illness, whatever it is, like we only got to really know each other and bond deeper and deeper through all of the tragedies that, took place where we realized, oh, we are thick as thieves. Like there's never anything that's going to get between us. Or there would be moments where, let's say, like I'm going to Tony Robbins seminars and I'm growing. And then he's like, oh shit, if I don't get on board, I'm not going to grow with her. And then we're going to grow apart because life is like relationships take those different courses and you're either going to grow together. And we would be like, are we going to, okay, we made it. And then we would go up the hill again. That's just relationships, in my opinion. And so I think it takes a long ass time. And I think that's probably what makes it so challenging is everyone gets married in the heat of the moment and everything is amazing. And then stuff happens. And,
Yeah, I do think it is the harder moments in life that like show you what is who the people really are and make you stronger if you survive them.
Not judging anyone who gets married within the first 2 years of knowing, but I've never been more emotional than watching a family member or a friend finally get married after being with someone for a decade. I remember my auntie from Germany, they had like a weird little like elopement in Vegas. It was like so on a budget. And they had been together for like 15 years at this point. Everyone in that room was just like the tears because when they talk about their love at that point, it had gone through what you said.
Yeah.
Like all the trials and tribulations. They were not in that pocket of being new lovers. They had really done life together. And to me, when you get to that point of finally saying like I do, having gone through all the uglies with someone, I don't know, it makes my heart swell in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And
ours too, when you do it, like we were like, it made us feel like it was the first day getting together again. So we flew home from Howard and I was on top of him in the first class seat, like in the plane. I was like just attached in like a whole new way. It was like so cool. I have to see this TikTok though, because I never saw this.
Yes.
I know they replay our wedding all the time they replay the wedding too, which is so funny. We've done so much on Stern at this point.
Long time
so much to say. I can
he wants
see
to
it
say
all.
something.
I do, and because it's been so long.
Are you about to propose to me? I'm going to die.
No.
Oh my God. It felt like he was about to
Noah.
propose right now. That
Whoa.
was so
Noah,
funny.
You're doing Noah too.
It was so emotional to hear you say everything.
Your
that you said.
boyfriend of 19 years wants to talk to you, Maria.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because listening to everything you said, there, back when we were in the green room and talking about, what you've been through. But I've been through it with you. And it's just hard, like I well up with tears too, because I think about what we both have been through as a couple. And when we wanted to be together, we couldn't, right? Because people didn't want us together. And then
you mean her parents?
Yeah,
right.
And family. And then it was literally like the last 17 or 18 years of us, fighting together and me defending her as best as I could. And obviously we got to a better place and you got a better deal, which is really why she left the other job. I mean, I don't know what businessman wouldn't take a better deal. It was a much better deal and it was global and all that. But it reminds me just how much I do love you. And although I said that this isn't a proposal, I want to ask you something, Maria. Would you make me the happiest man on earth? And would you marry me? I have to go down on a knee and get off the mic. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Get down on your knee. Get that mic near you. I don't want to miss a minute of it.
Pull that mic down. Kidding me?
Look at the ring. Look, put on some headphones, goddammit.
Somebody get headphones
Quickly.
on him.
Headphones.
Get me on 2.
Get him on 2.
I'm dead.
What's the matter with you?
So funny. I would see this.
Oh my God, JD.
JD, you're ruining my fucking moment.
Is this a joke?
Not a joke.
It's a big
What did you
ring.
say?
It's not a joke. This I wouldn't joke about. I love you so much, and this show's meant so much to both of us. This is the first thing we listened to together, 19 years in that big house on a twin mattress. And I said, one day you will be on that show and you will be a star.
He did.
And here you are, and here we are. And it's like, why not make it official now? Will you, honey?
Will you, honey?
Will
Poor
you?
thing.
I know you really let him hang.
I made him suffer.
See, this is the worst.
He's been working on this ring for a long time.
I've been working with Beth Stern, the great Beth Stern. She's the only one that, other than our publicist, that because I had to tell him because I know he'd have a heart attack. No one else knows about this. Your dad last night, I pulled him out of the hotel. That's what I pulled him out.
Pulled him out of the room?
I'm not easily surprised,
Right after I told
guys.
my mom.
This was big.
So, Maria, will you marry me?
You're like, oh, I forgot to say yes.
This whole video's on TikTok and it's viral? Wow.
I've been putting the ring on Maria's finger.
This one?
Oh my God, this
The ring is going on. It is
I'm
happening.
turn around and do it to Robin.
It's happening. Maria, cry.
Right?
Maria, you should be crying.
She
I've got tears in my eyes.
Not
She's
you, Robin.
crying.
didn't know I was.
The
And now I'm just
desert.
This one?
Are you serious right now?
Of course. What do you think of the ring?
Oh, I love it.
He's been
Oh my God, it's amazing.
going to be a married woman finally.
Boo.
I love you so much.
Fuck balls.
Fuck balls.
Grab her titties.
It's just such a funny reaction because it's really hard to tell
Wow.
what you're actually thinking.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Let's see the rock.
Did I do okay?
You did amazing.
It's a nice ring, right?
Yeah.
Beth thought it was outrageous.
Look at my face. I'm like, it's real. Legit. It isn't a joke.
Carrot size. I said, Maria's very cute.
That's so funny.
special.
Oh, thanks for letting me relive that.
Oh, you almost jumped off the couch.
Dove away. But if you look, I don't remember when I posted it. It was like on an anniversary, I think, of the implantation. So it was like maybe October. When I went in to tell Keven that we were pregnant, he literally ran to the other side of the gym. I don't know why our reactions are
get
so
away from
awkward.
each other.
We're just like most people go and hug their spouse. We're pregnant. He freaking ran. And then he's like, oh shit. And he was like, so much was going through his head. Even though he wanted this, it wasn't that he didn't. It was just so heavy and overwhelming in the moment. But it was funny.
You guys were trying for a while, right? And so you had your baby via surrogate.
Yep.
Was like, what is there like the journey? Did you try like to do it on your own? Like what was the?
We tried. He had to have a surgery because whatever, I don't know. It's like a common thing with men. We used to call us sperm stupid because they would swim in circles.
Oh, that's right.
Stupid sperm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we had all kinds of jokes. And then for me, we did the artificial insemination route. He would hang me upside down like a chicken. I mean, we did, guys, by the ankles. It was really hilarious. Yes, we tried really hard. And then after the brain tumor, my neurosurgeon was like, you can't get pregnant because there's still brain tumor. I couldn't get out. And, typically things grow when you're pregnant. So that's why we had to go the surrogate route. And the surrogate route was like unbelievable. It was the most magical experience. So we have another family now because of them.
Whoa.
Not just our family, but they're our family now too.
I have questions about surrogacy if you're okay, talking about it. what is like what is the one thing where you're like, okay, like I trust this person to carry my child, and what do you find is the most important thing to build with that person? Like I know I know of people who have even been like, hey, like move closer to us. Let's say if it's a surrogate from Texas, like, hey, like, will you live in LA for, the duration of the pregnancy?
That's intense.
I know, kind of intense, right? But like, what do you find is like the most important thing to kind of get through the surrogacy with that person smoothly?
Great questions. I just answered the first one for someone recently, and I already forgot what your first question was. It was, how do you trust them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I'm blessed because I've interviewed people for more than 2 decades. So I feel like I have a really good read on people. And so when we met them on the Zoom, I instantly loved them. They were like sweet Midwesterners, and the husband was very honest that he was confused by her desire to do this because she said it to him when they were first dating.
Oh.
And she hadn't even had her own kids. She knew this was a calling inside of her. And so it was well established in their relationship. This is something she was going to do at some point. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Wait, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
As someone who recently had a pregnancy that I absolutely hated every second of, like these are the people I want to find out. I want to ask, like I want to know about them.
Yeah,
because it's so beautiful.
So she had said that, and then he said that as he started going through the process, he started to kind of make sense to him. So I loved his honesty, because I would look at profiles and be like, oh no, that guy looks bad. He looks scary. Oh, he just wants money. I instantly just was like, yeah, no, I was profiling the profiles.
Were you more worried about who they were with?
Yes.
Than the actual like woman?
1,000,000,000%.
That makes sense. That's really smart.
Wait, why?
Because that's the person who has the power in the relationship sometimes. So you just have to watch out, like, what the influences are, who, like, you want someone who's going to be supporting and loving and on the journey. And so I could just tell, even just from go, this was a no. When I met them, I was like, these guys are amazing. And the second part of your question was, how did I trust on the actual journey? So after we chose them, I had already been on the journey for a while and had another surrogate too that couldn't end up carrying, unfortunately. And she was lovely as well. Kim Kardashian was really the reason why I was able to trust. And I'll share why. She had gone through it. She had shared with me so much. And if you know Kim, you know that she's very chill. She is very calm. And she just was like, Maria, do not be overly crazy about this. Just, you pick the right person, trust them. She's like, I didn't over micromanage. I didn't do any of that stuff. Like, she was very chill about the process.
We love a delegation queen on this show.
We do.
We love to delegate.
And so, yeah, I love delegating. I delegate dishes. I delegate laundry. I delegate everything. Thank God Kevin's good. I'm kidding. No, but I'm not. He's really good at it. And so she gave me peace of mind because it worked well for her. And this is the most powerful woman in the world. And she approached it like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to be cool, because I could have been super type A, a little kooky too.
Wait, where do you lean, right? Like, are you normally, like in other just everyday things, can you be more chill? Or are you a little more like?
No, I'm way more controlling.
Okay.
Yes. However,
so you needed to
post spring tumor, I've chilled out and I've learned that things work out, and I've learned to be less micromanagerial and less controlling and all of that. But I think a baby, I might have been a little more scared. You only have 3 embryos. You're like, okay, you're going to be nervous. So with her, one of the most special things she said to me was, I want to do whatever you would do if you were pregnant. And I was like, and so I was like, well, here's what I would do. Knowing diabetes is in my family, I would refrain from sugar. But listen, if I was pregnant and I had a craving, you bet your ass I'd have that sugar. Mm-hmm. So just be mindful of it. I'll send you organic meats so that you're eating organic meats, and I'll send you some organic household products. And then, just be careful from there. That's it. Like, I trusted her. She was a really responsible woman. and had 2 kids of her own. And it was just the most amazing experience. And we got closer and closer. And as the date got closer, we were there and we got to all be together as families. And she gives birth like we give, drink a glass of water.
What?
Yeah. She was out and about the next day, like
Incredible.
just super, super human. And so, yeah, she was amazing.
And how often are you checking in with
All the
your
time.
surrogate? Is it like an everyday?
No, literally their family. Their
Wow.
family. Like if something happened to us, I would want them to have Athena.
Yeah.
They're that amazing. So I also wanted her to feel very connected to us post this. And then we just stay in touch. They flew out for different events, different things. And so they've been here with us at our house, and they're just really good people. And I just feel so, so lucky that this is how it went. And it was magical. And I was there to grab Athena and, put her right on my chest. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most unbelievable experience ever. And so, yeah.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Okay, Halloween, it lets me have some fun, right? We're all having fun, we're having candy. But what about things that actually scare you that don't involve ghosts? I've got a lot of things that scare me, and that's why therapy is a great tool for facing fears and finding ways to overcome them. Because sometimes the scariest thing is actually just not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. And boy, is that so real for me. So real, especially in this postpartum era. Oh my gosh. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. I have been in so much therapy these past couple months, you guys. There's a lot going on. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/TrashTuesday today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TrashTuesday. Do you have any other tips from Kim Kardashian to share?
Oh my gosh. Kim's amazing.
I know.
I've always just been in awe of her, watching her throughout the years. Like, that woman works. She'll get off a plane at 3 a.m. She's shooting a commercial at 5 a.m. with a smile and just loving it.
Are you like that too?
No, I can get more tired, I think. Like, I don't think I don't want it as much. That's the problem. So I think it depends on how much you want it to. She really wanted it. That's why she's where she's at.
Esther, we have a problem.
We don't want things.
Well, number one, we're professional bed rotters.
Yeah.
What's a professional bed rotter?
It's what do you...
Well, there are 2 varieties of bed rotters. One bring food into the bedroom. The other, and I do not.
Kevin. Yeah, it's all over the bed sometimes.
I really need to lie down more than I would have thought. Like, and I also since having a baby, the biggest shock to me is that at the end of every day, I feel like I've been in a car accident. My body hurts.
Yeah, hurts. I have no wrist. I don't know if your wrist has gone yet.
My wrist hurts every day.
My wrist is gone. I couldn't do a downward dog if you begged me. I can't put any pressure on my wrist at all. So I have to go on my knuckles if I'm doing any kind of stretches or anything. So wrists, hips, everything is sore. And it's like, you'd think I had never worked out in life.
That's
I don't
how I feel.
understand.
And you used to wrestle.
Yeah, I'm a badass. I'm kidding. I did 4 matches. It's nothing. But yeah.
With surrogacy, is there a transition period in the beginning where you feel like there needs to be even more skin to skin, or because I know I think maybe even Khloe Kardashian talked about how she had not issues, but there definitely was a transition period.
She had something to compare it to.
Oh,
so I
see.
don't.
Yeah.
For me, I did skin to skin with Athena instantly for, I don't know, over an hour.
Yeah.
And then Keven and my dad and the surrogate, everybody got to hold her after. And then I did skin to skin as much as I could. And then when we got home, we continued it. But I didn't think I needed to do it any kind of extraordinary amount.
Yeah.
But I noticed a difference, when I, have her there, she gets more attached to me that day, let's say. It's a weird thing where she's it's a super connection. I don't know.
Yeah.
by the way, I didn't have skin to skin right away because my baby was swept away to the NICU, and like I was fine in that moment because I was so relieved that I gave birth. But like I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, I like missed a lot of that first 3-day bonding.
Wow.
So it's I feel like
I don't think it makes a difference at the end of the day because how many babies have gone into NICUs and they're connected.
And also like,
but it's if you can, you do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And skin to skin is still relatively new, right? Like in the sense that like back then there used to be just a baby nursery and your baby stays there. Your baby doesn't stay bedside with you. And they do all the shots and they, you know, like, so it was a more like separate area where mom would then be wheeled in to look at their babies through like a window.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe we created a whole fucked up generation like based on that, but you know, I mean, that's how they used to do it.
Oh, we just get more fucked up. So
yeah, in different ways.
Hello. Athena takes a remote control every day and does this.
Hello.
I'm like, that's the closest you're getting to a phone, baby.
What has been the most surprising thing about being a parent?
How amazing it is.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, I honestly never knew how amazing. Someone said, I was getting my hair and makeup done, and they're like, isn't it so great to hear her in the background in the house? And I said, yes. Like, I had no idea. I thought this was going to take from my life in so many ways. I thought, you know, I was going to be stifled. It was going to be too much. Maybe I was too old or whatever. I had so many fears attached to all of it. But it's Christmas morning every day. She's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I don't even know what life was before. And I did. I was sad. I didn't know why, but Keven would be like, you want a family. I'm like, I don't think that's it. And then he'd be like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Really?
Really?
How did he like?
He just knows me so well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And had it been something you were just sort of like lukewarm about previously?
I was scared. I was moving in the direction because I knew I wanted to, but I was always scared underneath too. Like I was scared because I had a really tough relationship with my sibling. My husband had one with his. Like listen, this is how I break it down. I'm like, Saddam Hussein had a mom. Okay. Osama bin Laden had a mom. I don't know if I'm going to get dealt a good hand and I don't want to roll the dice.
Wait, this is exactly why I withheld having a child for so long. And for
You're
the
not
longest
crazy.
time, because I come from a very traumatic household.
I understand.
Everyone on my mom's side is either an alcoholic or just some really fucked up version of a human that I would never want in like my bloodline. I was trying to just like kill. In my head, I'm like, I'm killing a whole bloodline. And I think this is this is the greatest thing I can do to this planet.
Oh my God.
But that's how I always viewed it because I was like, oh, but then, you know,
you can
like
change the bloodline.
Yes. So then once I became more informed and got into therapy and learned that, wait a second, this was very likely an environmental thing. This wasn't like a nature versus, this was very much a nurture issue. And they probably didn't get their needs met as children. I didn't get my needs met as a child. So then once I started to understand trauma, then I'm like, okay, it's not a whole bloodline I have to kill. But I used to say that all the time. I'm like, no way, I'm not going to chance passing this genetics on to someone else.
Because you can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
Once you have them, what do you do? And then I learned about boarding school. And I was like, oh, if I get a shit hand, I can just send them to boarding school. And that's when I was like, good, let's go. I'm ready. I swear to God, I'm not even joking.
Oh my God.
That's when I felt better about things.
See, okay, so this is, by the way, I feel like all the Gen Z girls are like, do I have kids? Do I not have kids? Like they're all like getting in their mid-20s and stuff and thinking of, because, you know, you kind of have to start thinking about it. Not, you don't have to, but whatever. We just do because that's like what we do as women. But my turning point, because I was very unsure for so long, my turning point was I after I had already had a miscarriage, I was sort of like, oh, maybe this was like my out and I am not supposed to do this. And then one of my friends said, you know, you keep saying, am I going to have kids? Am I not going to have kids? She's like, why don't you just have one kid? And I was like, oh. And then I thought, I know I've said this on here before, but Natasha Leggero, hilarious comedian, always says, one is an accessory, two is a lifestyle. So I'm like, okay, I can just have one accessory and then stop there if that's too overwhelming. So that was like my turning point.
Okay.
You're like, what?
No, I love that. I think that's great. we all are going to have that moment of like, do I, don't I? Even the day before we implanted, we were sitting in the front yard. Crazy story. We're sitting in the front yard. I'm like, Keven, okay, it's tomorrow. Like, this is our last chance to pull the plug if we don't want to do this. Like, because you're about to do it and you can't undo it, right? And just as I say that, and I have video of this, a stork flies out of my magnolia tree over to the tree across the street. I've never seen one in my life. And I was like, okay, I guess that's a sign. Christmas Eve, I'm in Connecticut. I'm going to tell my dad that we're pregnant. I'm outside with him and I'm thinking about the fact that tomorrow morning I'm going to surprise him with this news and a picture of the sonogram and whatever. A stork flies across the way and I go, what's a stork doing here? And it's Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So I was like, okay, I hear you. Got it.
She's coming. It's happening.
Yeah.
I have a question from one of the sluggies that's kind of related to this topic. It's a 34-year-old woman who wants to have kids and she feels weird expressing it.
That she wants to have kids?
Single.
And why is she having a hard time being able to express this?
Because she's single, I think. And she like...
She's afraid of the judgment that might be attached.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Oh, well, we are way past that shit in life.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so.
I have male friends who are opting to be fathers and doing the whole solo journey and getting an egg donor and a surrogate and feeling really strong in their decision. So I always say, well, fuck, if those men can do it, like there should be no, if you want to do it alone, solo. By the way, all of last year and the year before that, I had told Esther, it's like, this is something I think I've finally made a decision about. Like, perhaps I do want kids, which was such a flip from the years prior. And I always thought that I would feel good about doing it solo. And I felt strong about that path. Like, should I ever want to do that? But I do understand sort of this like shame that I used to have around admitting that maybe it's something that I wanted.
Oh,
really?
Same.
And it
Really?
was right
Why?
around. I think it was because, again, like maybe fear of like the family genetics, number one.
Yeah.
But also feeling like a big kid. Like I never really, did you ever feel like, oh, I'm a woman. I'm a responsible girl. I never felt like I became like a full adult until like way later in like my 30s, or I hadn't really come into myself.
Okay.
I obviously have that too, but that's not why I was afraid at all. Like that doesn't factor in. It's for me, it's freaking scary to say that you want something that you don't know if you can have it.
Ooh.
Like that's
great.
so scary.
Great point.
Like, especially after miscarrying, you're like, oh, I may never get this.
So
I
you're
couldn't
managing your feelings.
Yeah, I couldn't admit to myself that I wanted it because I was too scared. I don't know. Like you went through obviously some sort of fertility journey because of where you landed. Like, were you ever scared to say that you wanted it?
No.
I love that.
I never thought about that. But guys, listen, like I've gone through the ringer. I had a brain tumor, pancreas cancer, diabetes, multiple other conditions. I think I've learned in life at this point that like no one's opinion really matters. Like in the shower just yesterday, it was hitting me like when you die, let's not get too grim, but here we go. When you die, people come to your funeral, they cry, and then life moves on and you don't exist anymore. You only exist to like the core people that you impacted, right? Your mom, your dad, if they're alive, your friends or whatever, but even their lives.
Queen. Sorry.
The person at Dairy Queen. Kevin's favorite, by the way. And so their lives just move on and go on. And by the way, life is supposed to go on. My mom always said, life is for the living. So why are we holding so much of what, or taking so many people's opinions into account that are never going to give a shit about you when you're gone anyway?
This is so true.
So they really don't give a shit about you now either, really. So unless it's like your intimate people, and even then, their opinion doesn't matter because it's your life. why are we doing this to ourselves?
Oh God, I wish I had you in my ear a couple years ago. So I think I've actually, here's why I had a lot of shame saying it out loud, because I had gotten abortions when I was younger. And it was for reasons that were like medical. I was going through like heart conditions. I got an ablation. And because I had terminated pregnancies in the past, I was afraid of what people thought when I do decide to have kids, whether or not they felt like I deserved to have it at that point. And there was a shame around that, even though I always talk openly about my abortions because like I don't think that they were bad decisions.
No.
But now I felt like, could I deserve to be a mom? And you're so right. When I die, none of them will give a fuck.
None of them.
Maybe my mom and sister and like a handful of others, and that's it.
That's it.
God, I wish you were in my ear years ago.
I also
listen, I wish I was in my own ear years ago. Trust me. But like, it just was hitting me in the shower. I was thinking about somebody. I was approaching a friend whose brother committed suicide, and I just approached him at a party, and I said, you know, this is probably not a really good time to say this, but I just want you to know, like, I think of him often. And I know people are probably scared to tell you that, but having gone through my mom's death, I know I like when people bring her up and talk about her because it keeps her memory alive. And we had a really beautiful exchange. And that, I think maybe the next day, that's why I was thinking about it. Because I was like, I don't know how many of us even have the conversation, even if we're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And just like I said, life just moves on. So why put so much stock in what everybody else thinks about you and what you're going to do? Because just remember, they're showing up mostly out of duty or because of sadness, fine. And then they're going off to fucking Dairy Queen after. They don't give a fuck.
I know Jeff at Dairy Queen will not get over my death. I know that he will mourn me for years to come. I also am now feeling like you maybe like a hidden purpose in your life is that you're meant to show young women who've had abortions that they can still go on and have children. They can want that, they can have that, and they can be happy with that.
Right. I think also it has to do with like, you know, Catholic upbringing of being like, well, you did this, now something, you're not going to have this. Like there's a sense of like, life will punish you, bitch.
Yeah.
You know, and so you hang on to that. I think I hang on to that a little too tightly.
That's the part of religion that I have a tough time with. And I'm Greek Orthodox and I love our religion too, but I don't believe God is a punishing God. They always say God is a loving God. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, if you don't receive communion before you die, you go to hell. And I'm like, wait, but my cousin was killed in a car crash. She didn't have time. So what? So I remember pulling the priest aside and be like, hey, this isn't working for me. You know, but then they have an excuse to make you feel better because they know you're sad. And I'm like, but that excuse is only because I'm sad right now and you're trying to make me feel better. But you said in church, if you don't, you go to hell. So is my cousin in hell? Like I remember having these conversations. So I don't believe that you need to, again, systems are the way they are. That's great. I like to create my own version. So in my version of like my religion, God is a loving God. God loves everybody. I don't care if you're gay or whatever you are. God loves all of his children and God loves us despite, because we were meant to sin. We were meant to make mistakes. Like we're human. And then we make our adjustments and we grow and we do better and whatever.
Sort of to build off of your like visualization of like your funeral, no one's going to care. Which I love.
Have you chosen your funeral
I'm being a little extreme, but it's kind of true, guys.
But this makes me sad because I've actually like handpicked the song for my funeral. Have you not?
I can say I have not, but I will do that today. But actually, no, I just
it's on
did
my
it.
to-do list.
Taylor Swift, Antihero, obviously.
I'm done.
Really?
What's your song?
Mine is Roy Orbison, Blue Bayou.
Oh, I love that song. I love that song.
That's so funny.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Phone in when it hits you.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know why Hangin' Tough just came into my head from New Kids on the Block, but it did.
But
yeah.
to build off of that, just like for this girl, this who's doesn't want to say what she wants in life, which I obviously really relate to. This is advice that a dance teacher gave to me once years ago, which I wish I need to remind myself of it. But it's like she said, like, if you're embarrassed about how you're dancing in class, what you look like, everyone is just looking at themselves. No one's looking at you. We're all looking at ourselves. So it's like, who cares? And that really helped me in dance class I need to apply to other things again in life. But like, it's so true. This is just the realist. We're just looking at ourselves.
Well, we have to get out of our own way because our egos, in a sense, are too big to be like, we're thinking everyone's watching our every move. So I always tell people when they're in the press for some negative reason, I always say to them, I'm like, you're the only one that really knows and the person that you're in it with, because the rest of us are too busy to pay attention. It's my job, or was my job, to pay attention, and I could barely keep up. And so just remember, like, the world is so big. I had Deepak Chopra on my show, and he talked about like the Milky Way is like not even a fragment of the universe. And yet it's so fucking massive. And we're such not even a speck of salt in the Milky Way. Think of what we are to the rest of the universe. We really don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So
I find relief in that.
We have to find relief in that,
Yeah.
because we have to free ourselves. And especially women, we have to unburden ourselves so intensely, because we're getting so sick with autoimmune conditions and all kinds of things, because we're so stressed about all of these things that don't matter. I had another woman, I think her name was Shauna Nequist. She had this really great book, and it was talked about concentric circles. Like, really look at your life like concentric circles. In that first circle, it's you, your husband, and your baby. That's it. Who do you not want to disappoint outside of that circle? Like, or who can you disappoint after that? So for me, my circle is Keven, my dad, and Athena. Those are the people I don't want to disappoint in life. And if you don't do this, you'll end up disappointing them so that you could please everybody in the outside circles. So if you can actually just do this exercise and say, this is what really matters in life. Everything else, yes, I love my friends. I love everyone around me, whatever. But if I can just keep my focus on these are the people I don't want to disappoint, then everything else falls into place. And then everyone has a pecking order, in a sense, where it's like, okay, I can only do so much. I don't have to be Superwoman. And from there, I can see what I can do. But it's like, I'm not Superwoman. So
I'm healed.
Come join the Heal Squad, guys.
I've been healed.
Where am I in your concentrics?
You're obviously in the first tier.
Everyone around us is in the first tier, guys.
But I also feel like I have unconditional, I guess no adults should have unconditional love with each other.
Correct.
Like, I forgot, but with you I do. Like, I just don't feel like I could disappoint you. Like, I'm not at risk of that. Well, actually, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think we're too far in now. To
Yeah.
where it's like, okay. Like, you feel like, sometimes there are family members where you have a rift with, but eventually you know that come the next holiday, you guys are like back on.
we haven't had a riff.
We haven't, just the one time.
But just know when it comes, you'll be back together at the holidays.
Love that.
Right.
Love that. I
And
look forward
there are
to Christmas.
people where you have a rift with and you're like, oh, there's no coming back from that. And that person's like out.
And you're like, that's fine.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, this feels good. Please exit my tree.
You're in the 7th concentric circle.
Yeah.
Right.
Maria, I just wanted to quickly say it is 2:30 and I know you had a heart out.
Oh, that's right. You had a
Okay.
heart out, right?
Yeah.
Let's wrap up. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for changing our lives.
I'm dead. I love you.
Needed this.
Thank you for all the compliments.
Needed a break from the Rick Glassman type of episodes we have with our crazy comedy friends who drive us crazy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm
Thanks
such
for
a huge
having
fan
me.
of your
This is so
podcast,
fun.
Heal Squad. Is there anywhere else where people should be looking for more Maria in their life?
I think Heal Squad is just my passion after all the health things that I've gone through.
Which
I
we
love
didn't even
having
touch
everyone.
on. And there's so
Totally
much.
okay.
Your story is crazy and people need to like go watch Heal Squad. There's so much more to everything you've been through is so fascinating. And also, before you go, I just do want to like thank you that you share all this stuff, because for me, like when I've gone through health scares and miscarriage, whatever it is, like when celebrities speak out about that stuff, you don't know how much you're helping people. Like it's such a big deal. It makes these things less scary. So thank you. And I have so many more questions, but like, thank you for always sharing, because you've gone through cancer and tumors and so much. We love you. Thanks for being here.
This is so fun.
You guys go listen to Heal Squad and we'll see you next week with a brand new episode. Yay.